Like many other Miyazaki movies, Kiki's Delivery Service is actually one of his more simplistic films. At no point will Kiki travel to another world or battle against evil. That said, Miyazaki beautifully combines fantasy with a realistic and sympathetic portrayal of a young girl working through the typical traumas of adolescence while learning to survive on her own. And this is exactly why Kiki's Delivery Service is so memorable and relatable. The movie effortlessly imbues Miyazaki's trademark world of striking natural scenery, exquisite architecture, and thrilling flying scenes, but also delivers a strong message of independence and empowerment. Released in 1989, the Studio Ghibli movie was written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki as an adaptation of the 1985 novel by Eiko Kadono. It was the first ever film released under a 15-year distribution partnership between the Walt Disney Company and Studio Ghibli. Despite the simplicity of the narrative, in my opinion, it is the combination of fantasy and realism that gives this movie its particular strength. Prior to releasing this movie, Miyazaki was already famous for creating strong female characters or protagonists, as evident in movies such as Laputa and Totoro. That said, none of these characters has the complex mixture of traits that make Kiki such a relatable and believable character. Paradoxically, Kiki is one of Miyazaki's most human characters, and the movie itself is one of the director's most heartfelt coming-of-age stories. 11 years ago, I had traveled from India to the UK to pursue higher education at the age of 18. I did various part-time jobs and rented a very small apartment in Scotland. In spite of some of the hardships, I created my own home away from home by making a wonderful group of people, my friends, who I now see as my extended family. As such, I could easily relate to Kiki, a young girl, though seized by her loneliness and homesickness, making friends out of strangers in such a big city and following her dreams. However, unlike me, this 13-year-old girl possesses two supernatural powers, the ability to fly and the ability to talk to her cat. That said, in my opinion, more intriguing than these rather cliched powers is the willingness to leave her village and seek independence in a large big city. A quest more typical of a male protagonist. In this new world, she must learn to live socially, economically, and romantically, assuming both the duties and the freedoms that maturity brings. To achieve this, she becomes an entrepreneur by building a delivery business. On her broomstick, she delivers objects ranging from pacifiers to heavy objects, through rain and bad weather, and all while working through her own internal turmoil of self-doubt and depression. Miyazaki beautifully blends fairy tales with reality to offer young audiences a glimpse of self-reliance that stems from fundamental human qualities such as perseverance and a willingness to work hard. Miyazaki created many shots of Kiki flying over the ocean, countryside, and city, suggesting her increasing sense of agency as she learns to master her broom, both in the wildness of the city and in the crowded streets of Koriko. Kiki's journey perhaps can be viewed as a movement away from tradition into the urban space and time of modernity. The story sets itself apart from other such coming-of-the-age works in that it not only has a female protagonist, but also the city Kiki settles in, Koriko, is a fictional one. In the making of Koriko, Miyazaki was inspired by some of his favorite European cities, including Paris, Madrid, Lisbon, and Stockholm, all beautifully set in a hyper-real urban environment. While Koriko's beauty appeals to the romantic traveler, the heart of the movie lies in the satisfying and diverse relationship that Kiki develops almost exclusively with women. The prominence of femininity is obvious from the beginning of Kiki's Delivery Service. After an exhausting first day in the city, Kiki is standing despondent and lonely on a ledge above the town when a pregnant woman, Osono, rushes by with the baby's pacifier in her hand. Ursula is undoubtedly the most important of Kiki's female friends. Ursula's relaxed relationship with nature and her ease with the solitude and privacy necessary for artistic creativity are beautifully captured in some of the scenes. Ursula's importance becomes even more obvious when Kiki loses her ability to fly, as well as loses the ability to talk to her cat. To Kiki, this loss is the same as losing her identity. It is Ursula who comes to Kiki's rescue. She does this not by helping her regain her powers, but by confiding in Kiki that she herself on occasion has lost her ability to paint. Ursula further added that in situations like these, she either takes a nap or goes for a walk or does nothing. She encourages Kiki to follow her curiosities and see where they take her. Her advice doesn't lead immediately to Kiki regaining her powers, but teaches her self-acceptance. Miyazaki ends the movie with Kiki's parents reading a letter in which she writes of successfully settling into her new life, something I could easily relate to. While her parents seem thrilled, I'm sure they might also experience a feeling of mourning. Kiki's Delivery Service can be seen as a movie relating to the fear of transition. On the one hand, this fear is a form of mourning for the loss of childhood from the point of view of a parent watching her child grow up, or perhaps a nostalgia for their own childhoods. This intricate undercurrent of adult nostalgia for the early stirrings of independence and sad awareness of what independence brings adds to the movie's emotional force. While Kiki does eventually recover her ability to fly, she never regains the ability to talk to her cat Gigi. Soaring above her new urban home, Kiki at the movie's end is more limited than when she arrived. Perhaps a bittersweet vision of what maturity entails when compared to the boundless possibilities of our childhood existence.